the dream of flight. From simulator to sky. Welcome to Wings of Freedom. Tonight, we explore the most extraordinary bucket list item on Earth, learning to fly your own aircraft. From the first moment you lift off the runway, the world changes forever. The buildings shrink. The roads become ribbons. The coastline reveals curves you never knew existed. And in that moment, suspended between Earth and sky, you understand why humans have dreamed of flight for 10,000 years. Leonardo da Vinci filled notebooks with wing designs. The Wright brothers spent 4 years building and crashing and rebuilding before 12 seconds changed the world in 1903. Today, a private pilot license is more accessible than ever. The technology is safer. The training is better. And the sky is still the same infinite blue that called to every dreamer who ever looked up. Tonight, we give you the complete guide to answering that call.
Before spending a single dollar on real flight training, start with a flight simulator. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 is the most realistic consumer flight simulation ever created. Photogrammetry-generated terrain from Bing satellite data. Real-time weather from MediaBlue. Live air traffic from FlightAware. The entire planet, every airport, every mountain, every coastline, rendered in photorealistic detail. A basic setup costs about $500, a decent gaming PC or Xbox Series X, a Thrustmaster T16000 joystick, and rudder pedals. For a more immersive experience, add a honeycomb alpha yoke and Bravo throttle quadrant for another $600. Virtual reality with a Meta Quest 3 transforms the experience entirely. You can look out the side window and see the runway below you. You can practice approaches to any airport in the world. Simulator time does not count toward your license, but the muscle memory, the instrument familiarity, and the confidence it builds are invaluable. Every professional airline pilot trains in simulators. Start yours today.
A private pilot license, PPL, allows you to fly single-engine aircraft carrying passengers in visual flight conditions. In the United States, the requirements are minimum age 17, a third-class medical certificate from an FAA-designated aviation medical examiner, 40 hours of flight training minimum, though the national average is 60 to 70 hours, a written knowledge exam of 60 questions, a practical flight test, the check ride, with an FAA examiner. Total cost in the U.S., $10,000 to $15,000. Timeline, 3 to 6 months of regular training. In Korea, the equivalent 자가용 조종사면허 requires similar training through the Korea Transportation Safety Authority. In Australia, PPL training costs $8,000 to $12,000 Australian dollars, and the flying conditions are among the best in the world. The most important factor is not cost or time. It is consistency. Flying once a week builds skills. Flying once a month loses them. Commit to a schedule and protect it.
Every pilot remembers their first solo. You have been training for weeks. Your instructor has been in the right seat, correcting, guiding, sometimes grabbing the controls. Then one day, after a series of good landings, your instructor unbuckles their seatbelt, opens the door, and says 3 words that change your life. You've got it. The door closes. The right seat is empty. You taxi to the runway, run the checklist, push the throttle forward. The engine roars. The airplane accelerates. And then, at 60 knots, you pull back on the yoke and you are flying. Alone. The world below is yours. The sky above is yours. The responsibility is entirely yours. You will land. You will taxi back. Your instructor will shake your hand. And you will understand, with absolute clarity, that you just did something most people only dream about. The tradition, after your first solo, your instructor cuts the back of your shirt. That piece of fabric is the most valuable trophy you will ever own.
The Cessna 172 Skyhawk is the most produced aircraft in history. Over 45,000 built since 1956. It is the airplane that taught the world to fly. Forgiving, reliable, affordable. A used 172 in good condition costs $80,000 to $150,000. The Cirrus SR-22 represents the modern era. Composite airframe, glass cockpit with Garmin avionics, and the Cirrus airframe parachute system. CAPS, a whole aircraft ballistic parachute that has saved over 200 lives. A new SR-22 costs about $700,000. Used models start at $200,000. The Diamond DA40 is the European choice. Efficient diesel engine, composite construction, excellent visibility. New price around $400,000. For first-time buyers, a partnership or flying club membership makes ownership practical. For partners sharing a Cessna 172, pay about $4,000 per month each, including hangar, insurance, and maintenance.
The best flight schools share common qualities: well-maintained aircraft, experienced instructors, consistent weather, and a culture of safety. In the United States, ATP Flight School and Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University are the gold standards. Florida and Arizona offer year-round flying weather. In Australia, the Royal Queensland Aero Club and Bankstown Flying School near Sydney combine excellent training with spectacular scenery. In Korea, Hanseo University and Korea Aerospace University offer structured programs. In Europe, flight schools in Spain and southern France offer excellent weather and lower costs than northern Europe. The key question: do you want to fly for fun or for a career? For fun, a local flying club with weekend instruction is perfect. For a career, a structured Part 141 program with instrument and commercial ratings follows a clear path to the airlines. Either way, choose an instructor you trust. The relationship between student and instructor is the most important factor in learning to fly.
Cross-country flying is where aviation becomes adventure. Your PPL requires at least one solo cross-country flight of 150 nautical miles with landings at 3 different airports. Planning begins with weather. Check METRs and TAFs for departure, destination, and alternate airports. File a VFR flight plan. Calculate fuel requirements. Enough for the trip plus 45 minutes reserve. Check NOTAMs for temporary flight restrictions. Use ForeFlight or SkyDemon for digital flight planning, including terrain awareness and airspace visualization. In flight, maintain your heading, altitude, and fuel awareness. Make position reports at checkpoints. And look outside. Cross-country flying reveals the beauty of geography in a way no other experience can. The patchwork of farms. The silver thread of a river. The sudden appearance of a mountain range on the horizon. Each flight is a small expedition, a personal discovery of the world from a perspective that belongs to the lucky few.
Modern general aviation cockpits are more advanced than airline cockpits from 20 years ago. Garmin's G1000 NG glass cockpit displays moving maps, terrain awareness, traffic alerts, and weather radar on high-resolution screens. The GFC 700 autopilot can fly approaches to within 200 feet of the runway in instrument conditions. Garmin Autoland, available on the Cirrus Vision Jet and Piper M600, can automatically land the aircraft at the nearest suitable airport if the pilot becomes incapacitated. Synthetic vision technology creates a three-dimensional virtual view of terrain and obstacles even in clouds or darkness. ADS-B provides free weather and traffic information directly to your cockpit display. And flight tracking apps let your family follow your flight in real time on their phones. The technology does not replace skill. It amplifies it. A well-trained pilot with modern avionics is safer than any pilot in history.
The pilot community is one of the most generous and welcoming in the world. EAA AirVenture Oshkosh, held every July in Wisconsin, attracts 10,000 aircraft and 600,000 visitors. It is the greatest aviation gathering on Earth. Pilots fly in from every continent, park their planes on the grass, camp under the wings, and share stories and hamburgers with strangers who become lifelong friends. Fly-in breakfasts at local airports happen every weekend across the United States. The $100 hamburger is a beloved tradition. Fly to a nearby airport for lunch, not because you need to, but because you can. In Korea, the aviation community gathers at air shows in Seoul and Seoul ADX. Flying clubs organize group flights to Jeju and coastal airstrips. The pilot's lifestyle is not about the airplane. It is about the freedom to go anywhere, to see the world from above, and to belong to a community that understands why the sky matters. There is a layer of the atmosphere between 6,000 and 8,000 feet, where the air is perfectly smooth, the visibility is infinite, and the earth below looks like a painting made by a patient god. This is where pilots go to think. Not about approaches or checklists or fuel burn, but about life, about perspective, about the extraordinary improbability of being alive, in this century, in an airplane, above the clouds. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the pilot and author of The Little Prince, wrote, "The airplane has unveiled for us the true face of the earth." He was right. From the air, borders disappear. Conflicts seem small. Rivers connect rather than divide. And the horizon, that eternal line where earth meets sky, reminds you that there is always more to see, always further to go, always another runway waiting for you somewhere beyond the blue. The sky does not belong to anyone. It belongs to everyone brave enough to enter it. This has been Wings of Freedom by Anima. Of love, soul. The journey will continue. Wings of Freedom by Anima. The journey will continue.